Hello, and welcome to the Rolla Public Library Story Time. I'm Miss Tara. What's your name? Well, thank you for being here. Hey, let's get the wiggles out. Put your hands on your head. Put your hands on your nose. Put your hands on your chin. Put your hands on your shoulders. And wiggle it out. Yes! So, are you ready to find out what the clues are in the Magic Storytime bag? I am. Okay, Magic Storytime bag, what is our story today? What? No peeking. No peeking? You want me to reach in there without looking. Now, as I've told you before, there's a whole world of stories in this magic bag. So whenever we're ready for a story, that one comes up into the bag and we pull it out. Okay, no peeking. I don't know. Should I do this? Yeah? Okay. You think so? Okay. No peeking. Oh, it's soft. It's smushy. It's somebody's knitting. What? Well, it just goes on and on and on. Oh my gosh. What were they making? And on. And does this knitting ever end? Okay, it's got in sometime. I peeked. Oh, look at all this yarn and knitting. Do you know anybody who knits scarves or socks? Have you tried knitting a scarf or sock? All right, now let's find out what the story is. No, really, I didn't peek. I just looked down, I promise. No, don't argue with me. All right. Okay. This book is called Leave Me Alone. And look at that. That looks like an elderly woman, maybe a grandma. She looks pretty angry, huh? Oh, look, she's got knitting needles and yarn. And it looks like this is a Caldecott honor book. It's an award winner. Well, that should be extra fun and special. And this book, Leave Me Alone, is by Vera Brosgol. And it looks like they wrote the story and drew it. Okay, get your eyes for watching and your ears for listening. And we will find out what this story is all about. Leave me alone. She does not look happy. I wonder why. Oh, look, there's a bunch of yarn there by this character in the rocking chair. Once there was an old woman. She lived in a small village in a small house with a very big family. Oh my goodness, there's children everywhere. There's children jumping in the air, jumping on the bed, holding out their teddy bears, swinging from the rafters, and they're playing with balls of yarn. And the old woman is in her rocker, and she looks very grumpy and crowded and upset at all the noise. Winter was coming. That meant she had some very important knitting to do. But it wasn't getting done. Oh my goodness, the children are carrying her away. Her grandchildren were very curious about her knitting. Were you supposed to hit the ball with a stick? Could you eat it? Could you make your brother eat it? Why Why did the ball get smaller and smaller as you chased it? The old woman was at the end of her rope. Not too happy. So she made her bed as neatly as she could. She swept the floorboards until they more or less shone. She drank tea from her samovar. A samovar is a big metal container, and it can hold lots of tea and keep it hot because it's metal. And even sometimes there are tea kettles like this where you can put a fire inside and boil the water and keep it hot at the same time. So it looks pretty neat. Look at that. She's having trouble drinking her tea with the kids climbing all over her. She packed up her things in a big sack, and as she left, she shouted back, "Leave me alone!" The old woman walked through the deep, dark forest. She made a fire so that she could see what she was doing. Then she sat down and began to knit. The bear family was very curious about the light from her fire and about what she might taste like. Oh no. Oh no, the cubs are playing with her yarn, and there's the hungry bear. "Leave me alone!" the old woman shouted. But they didn't listen because bears don't speak English. So she picked up her sack and left. Ooh, now she's climbing a mountain. Do you think she'll ever find some peace and quiet? The old woman climbed up the mountainside. It was cold, so she found a small sheltered place. Then she sat down and began to knit. The mountain goats were excited to have a visitor, especially one that brought snacks, eating all her yarn. "Leave me alone!" the old woman shouted. But the goats were too busy fighting over the red ones, which they all agreed were the best. Yummy. So she picked up her sack and left. The old woman climbed higher and higher up the mountain. She reached the top and climbed onto the moon. That's pretty far away. She found a rock that was shaped like a chair. She sat down and began to knit. The little green moon men had never seen a woman before, old or otherwise. They examined her with handheld scanners that went beep, boop, beep, boop. Beep, boop. "Leave me alone!" the old woman shouted. But the little green moon men couldn't hear her because they didn't have ears like us. So she picked up her sack and left through a wormhole. Beep, boop. What? The void on the other side of the wormhole was very dark and very, very quiet. She was absolutely, completely, utterly alone. It was perfect. Soon she had no more yarn and 30 little sweaters. And she was alone. So she put the 30 sweaters into her big sack. She swept the void until it was a nice matte black. She had a cup of tea from her samovar, and she picked up the sack and left through another wormhole. Looks like the wormhole took her back home. When she came out the other side, everything was right where she'd left it. And she didn't say a word. There's all the grandkids running up to her, and she's giving them their sweater she knitted out in the void. The end. Well, that was a pretty crazy knitting adventure. Did you expect the grandma to end up on the moon, being scanned by aliens? I sure didn't. Well, that was an interesting story. We have a lot of books here at the library that you can check out. You can have an adult call and let us know which books you like. And if you had fun with this video, please make sure that you like and share it. And then come to the library to get other books, movies, or musical CDs and your grab-and-go craft bag. And we will see you next time. Bye!